Welcome to Dose with Grace. I hope you're doing well and taking very good care of yourselves. Today is Guru Purnima, a very special day, and therefore I would love to wish all of you all a very happy Guru Purnima. I hope you're able to spend this day today in reverence of your Guru, someone who has brought much more simplicity and clarity into your lives. Today, I just felt like sharing a bit about the importance and the need, or rather, the realization that we all need a Guru. To begin with, God Himself, in the form when He took the form of human, which we call as Avatar, and came into this earth to teach us how to live as humans, the life lessons, in the form of Ram, had two gurus, Guru Vishisht and Guru Vishwamitra. And Sri Krishna, who came as a fully embodied form of God Himself, but in a human form, also went to ashram and learned from his guru, Guru Sandeepni Ji. Hence, this explains very clearly, even in our scriptures, the importance, the significance, and the value of a guru in our lives. Maybe because of our own arrogance and ego, we may deny, saying that, oh, for everything else I need a guru, but for learning Adhyatma, I think I'm okay to just read the scriptures or maybe listen to some of the videos of Ramayana and Mahabharata, or rather, Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, and I will understand it. It is actually not possible, because having practiced reading these scriptures, I have personally also realized that they have very enlightened and very sacred truths. That's why it is called the highest of high knowledge. And that can only be understood when we have that kind of background, or we have that kind of foundation which only a guru can provide. And that foundation is of pure heart, receptive mind, and eagerness and curiosity to understand what the guru is explaining through those words which are written by the God Himself. A very simple example would be that when a katha is read by a katha vachak, who himself is a self-realized soul, the impact of that katha on you is very different from you reading that katha yourself. It is not difficult to read Bhagavad Gita. It is only 700 verses, only 18 chapters. Probably you've read many more books in your life. Then why is it that we are not able to embody that learning into our lives? It is because we need the help of a guru to make us understand what truly is being said through those verses. Of course, a guru will start training or start teaching us only when he thinks we are capable. Do you want to know the reason? Do you want to know an example of that? Just think of it. Arjun was with Sri Krishna throughout Mahabharata, ever since his childhood. But he was not able to learn what he learned during the war of Kurukshetra. Why? Because until then, Arjun was looking at Krishna as someone who is a guide, who is a friend, who is a sakha. But only when he reached that level of complete fear, confusion, and delusion, and he just wanted to give up completely. Then he surrendered to Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita's first chapter has 47 verses, and not even a single verse from Sri Krishna, which is called Arjun Vishad Yoga. Bhagavad Gita's second chapter is called Sankhya Yoga, which is the eternal knowledge of Atma, Jeev and Paramatma. The eternal continuity of Atma and the material body which comes, progresses from childhood to old age and decays. But even in the second chapter, where Sri Krishna begins with Sankhya Yoga, Arjun's second question comes only in the 54th verse. It took him so much time to rise from Vishad, which means confusion, fear, delusion, to asking the next question, which was, what does someone who has realized God looks like, walks like, talks like, behaves like, and lives like? Can you explain to me? What is that person's? What are the characteristics of that person's? Look at the change in the question. That why should I fight to? Now opening his mind to fully understanding what is enlightenment. And then the conversation progresses until the 18th chapter, where Sri Krishna gives him all the knowledge as he becomes rightly the deserving of that. And again, then gives him a choice of freedom to choose. Because again in the 18th chapter, which is the Bhakti Yoga, Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, I have now given you the entire knowledge, the entire Brahma Gyan. Now you have it, and now the choice lies with you. So this is the role of a guru. In Arjun's life, Shri Krishna did not become guru until Arjun was ready to be a disciple. The transformation that came in Arjun after accepting Shri Krishna as guru, and through him the Bhagavad Gita that was narrated, available for all of us as a living guru, it wouldn't have happened if that relationship between guru and shishya was not created. What we learn through those 700 verses of those 22-minute conversation, we do not learn from the entire Mahabharata. Bhagavad Gita is the song of God, is the way of life, is an eternal knowledge that stands the test of time. And that is narrated not by a person, not by a friend, not by a sakha, but by a guru to his disciple. And thus we see the significance of having a guru in your life. Arjun transformed from just a friend to a student, and that's when he learned the eternal truth of life. After which he became fearless, full of knowledge and active from Nishkam Karma Yoga. So, on this day of Guru Purnima, let us all try to remove this ignorance from within ourselves, that I can do it all by myself. Let me give you another example. If you cannot learn swimming just by yourself, if you cannot get a college degree just by yourself, if you cannot, or if your child cannot learn simple subjects like mathematics, science, language, art, geography, history by themselves, if you need experts for everything else to teach them, do you think something called Brahmagyan, or rather the only truth, can be so easily learned just by you? Especially when you're fully embodied and fully engrossed in this material existence of me and mine. How can we learn the real truth? How can we fully understand it and embody it and live it without the presence of a guru who can teach us, who can guide us, who can scold us, who can keep us on track, and more importantly, who can remove this ignorance, which is the root cause of separation from the eternal Brahm itself. So I hope after this video you will pray and ask for a presence of a living guru in your life. The most important thing in our life is to have a guru. But do you know that this is again something so divine that we cannot, just like we go and get a teacher for learning different languages, different subjects, or even to learn art. We can just hire a teacher, pay a fee, and get knowledge. But to get a real guru in Adhyatma, there is only one method, and that is the first step to get realization of God as well. And that is very powerful, very simple, very easy to practice, but very difficult to consistently do. And that is Naam Jap. Please, from today, if you are not already, start Naam Jap. It's written in our scriptures. It is told by our gurus, many Mahatmas. Repeatedly, in many scriptures, they have tried to bring out this fact that Kaliyug keval naam adhara, sumir sumir nar utre tara. Kaliyug keval naam adhara, sumir sumir nar utre para. So in this Kaliyug, any other method of trying to reach God is not going to work. It may just lead us feeling slightly more happy by ourselves, but it won't really connect us to God. Any other method, Gyan, Yag, fasting, Tap, Dan, everything else is like an add-on, but the basic is Naam Jap. If Naam Jap is there, then after that, if we do anything else, fasting, going to temples, doing yagyas, doing pilgrimages, doing anything, then it helps. Because Naam Jap is the true, only, not the true, but the only method prescribed for Kaliyug to reach God. If you're not doing Naam Jap and you're doing other things, it won't really bring a change within you. It might make you look very religious. It might make you very happy, satisfied, and you might think that I've now been very good. I've done this. Or it might make people around you feel that you are a great person. But trust me, you will not be able to become even a step ahead in your realization towards God, because all other things only increase your desires. The more your desires are fulfilled because of a certain ritual, because of a certain puja, because of a certain fast or certain activity, or certain pilgrimage, if something gets realized, we get more and more sucked into asking for more, and only desires grow, which take us only more and more away from the realization of God. The realization of God, the first step itself is Shant Bhav, that you do not want anything. Under every circumstance, you feel satisfied, fulfilled, happy from inside. There is no happiness that has to come to you, it generates from within because of the presence of God that is felt inside. So that only comes through Naam Jap. And what is Naam Jap? Naam Jap is one word of the God that you feel most connected to. Whether it is Ram, then you can chant Ram, 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 Ram. If it is Krishna, then you can chant Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. If it is Hari, then you can say Hari, Hari, Hari. If it is Narayan, you can chant Narayan, Narayan. So like that, you can chant the name of your favorite or the God that you most easily connect to naturally at all times. And this is the beauty of Naam Jap. That is why it was said, Kaliyug keval Naam Japat Sumir Sumir Nar Utre Para. Because Naam Jap doesn't require any conditions. It is not required that you must take bath and only do then you can do Naam Jap. Or you should be wearing something specific. Or you should keep a fast and then do Naam Jap. Or you can do it only at a certain time of the day. No. Naam Jap can be done at any time, in any condition. And it can be done at any place. You can even do it on the bed that you sleep in. This is the beauty of doing Naam Jap. And as you will begin with the first step, which is Naam Jap, God Himself will create such a situation, environment, and circumstance in your life that will bring you closer to your own Guru. The Guru that is perfect for teaching you the path towards God. You don't search for Guru. You just pray to God and God brings the Guru to you. Or rather, God awakens the Guru for you, and you will know the qualities of Guru that make us fully surrender to that Guru or learn from him, from that Guru, and remove our all sorts of ignorance. Probably in our next video I will discuss. But for today, do the Naam Jap. Any name that pleases you, any name that connects with you, start the Naam Jap today. It's a very blessed day, so make use of that. Make sure you start your journey towards finding your eternal Guru. And remember, Guru is never a person in a body. A Guru is Sakshat Param Brahm. Even if he exists in a form of a body, but he is totally Brahm. That is why this verse, which explains the quality and the significance of Guru in our life. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. With that, very happy Guru Purnima to all of you.